Hey, this is Daniel Marin, the voice of Namor in Marvel Rivals, and you're listening to A Stark Contrast with Geoffrey and Dai. Don't forget to protect your king, because those who oppose me shall be left to drown in my wake.
Hello and welcome back to A Stark Contrast, where we discuss the differences and similarities between Marvel Comics and their MCU counterparts. And we are your hosts, Geoffrey
and Dai.
Hello, and welcome back to the new year.
Yeah,
2026. First one.
First one for our new season, officially year 6. It's kind of like 5.5, but
it's crazy. 6 years is crazy.
Yeah, this is wild to even think about that we've been doing it, quote unquote, this long, but it's been a great ride. And so thanks for tuning in to our first episode of the new year, 2026.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's gonna be a good one.
Oh my God, it's a big year.
We've been talking about it for pretty much like the latter half of last year. I'm like, look, it's looking real grim right now, end of 2025, because they're doing a hard reset. But I know once 2026 gets going,
good. It's feeling good.
Yeah,
right.
Once Wonder Man hits at the end of the month.
I know.
We're good.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be so fun. So we'll roll into all of that, but I wanted to surprise Jeff right off the top. So
wow.
We had a fun little introduction from Daniel Marin of Marvel Rivals, who voiced Namor in the game, and he is the Wet King.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
I
I asked, and we got it. Ask and you shall receive.
Oh my God!
We're starting the new year fresh with the with a
little
start.
Cameo,
Little cameo. So thanks to Daniel again for that. But before we get into that character study, like Jeff said, the year is already starting out strong. But I did want to kind of take it back a little before we get into the inevitable. So Topps, the card company, has released their new Marvel Studios Chrome 2025 set. And so if you saw over there, I got 4 boxes, blister boxes. It's not even a real box. They're like mini boxes. I opened them all.
Oh, of course you did.
And even with all those packs, that's 28 packs of cards.
Yeah.
I only got 3 dupes. And I'm 100 away from completing the set.
Wow.
But young Geoffrey, everybody is in this set. Everybody from like Scott Lang's wife to Mel from the Thunderbolts. Everybody.
And it's all MCU?
All MCU. So it starts from Iron Man all the way up until Fantastic Four.
And you have it organized by that?
I have it already organized
of
and
course.
Everything. And the set is a little frustrating because it is a lot prettier in person than it looks online. Online, it kind of looks like the design is off.
It's like a plastic paper.
Yeah, but it is quite nice. They've got some special like blue cards that are in there, numbered cards. And so I pulled 2 very special numbered cards of Caecilius, I think. And
they're numbered too.
Yeah, they're
so
all
you
numbered.
know exactly what you're missing?
Yeah, exactly. There's a checklist of sorts. Whoa. And so, I've pulled some good ones. Captain America. I have all 3 of Tanner Tavan. They're like 3 different versions. It's nutty. It's a little excessive as far as dupes and like design goes, but it's a good set. Like, would you ever expect Jimmy Woo on a trading card? No, but he's there.
That's just John Krasinski from The Office.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's kind of wild. And so everybody has a card in this set. Very interesting.
Whoa.
So if you're more of a more modern fan, like take a look. And they do have a special trio of sets at the end, which are Captain America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four.
So the Fantastic Four are the last one?
They're the very last set.
The one's numbered one? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I pulled the most from Brave New World, funny enough. And on Daredevil as well.
Okay.
But I pulled the most from Brave New World.
Wow.
Yeah, and so got 100 more to go. We'll see where
No
we
big
land.
deal.
I know. Trading cards are crazy.
That is
Let
crazy.
me tell you. But beyond the trading cards, in true form, as we called it, all of the Avengers Doomsday teasers began to unravel the moment we went on holiday break.
It's true.
And I got a few text messages about it too. They were like, "Oh my God, girl, are you and Jeff going to talk?" And I was like, "Nah, dude, we have to wait till New Year. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And everybody was asking me, like, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? And so just after our Thanos character started, closed out the year, we got these sort of like teasers. And so rumors started.
Weren't even official yet, huh?
3 of them are. 3 of them are official.
No, I mean, before we went on break. Or
yeah, no,
they were all leaks.
They were all leaks because we were even talking about it in that episode. We're like, oh, there's some leaks popping up, pictures and stuff. And so the rumor was at the time that the teasers were supposed to be put in front of Avatar: Fire and Ash to help ticket sales for the film itself, which is kind of a crazy thing.
I mean, so they're both Disney properties, so it's like
it's so wild because they're also competing franchises. So it's interesting that they're like, oh, you love Avengers? How about you buy a ticket for Avatar so that we can bank off of your like love for that? That's kind of wild to me. But it was very much true. And they have circulated each teaser trailer before Fire and Ash each week. It's been in theaters since. And so to top that off, they're also circulating the trailer. Speaking of Marvel Rivals, they're teasing that trailer in game if you play in Times Square. Yeah. So I believe they're playing the second or third one now. So concurrent to all of these, the first one was Steve Rogers, Peggy and their baby, then Love and Thor, and then the latest official trailer, Xavier, Magneto, and Cyclops, as well as the Sentinels. And so the fourth one is currently, supposedly, probably, in theaters right now, featuring the Wakandans, the Talokan, and Ben Grimm. I just read today, in fact, Jeff, that there is now an 8th trailer registered.
An 8th? I only got up to 7.
Yeah, apparently an 8th one has been officially registered.
The people have speculated that they're going to release one every week leading up to Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yeah.
And then Super Bowl will be like the Doom reveal maybe, or it is the teaser trailer, or it is like the Doom reveal.
Yeah, I agree. I think that makes total sense, especially given the timing.
Yeah,
and the rollout.
I also saw like a possible plot.
Yeah,
like leak of like what it's possibly about, and I was like,
interesting.
Nice.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't know if I've seen it, so I'm compelled to not.
I'm also just like, I do this to myself, but I'm also like, how are people getting this?
Well, yeah, it's a mix of moles and just a good theory that happens to come true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard, especially now. You know, if you engage with any of that stuff and you like one tweet, you get the rest of the feed and it turns into a huge thing.
I know.
And now I'm seeing stuff that's like obvious, like ridiculous, like, oh, Channing Tatum will return in Doomsday. Like, nah, really? Tell me more. And then mixed with these AI photos that I cannot tell if this is real or not, but I know it's fake. Like, I know it's AI.
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild how, again, it's still a year out. It's less than a year out officially.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is going to be a long 11 months?
It's a year-long marketing.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if they need that money, if they want that money, that Avatar, we're going to dethrone it again money, they have to do it now.
Yeah.
Because we've seen what short marketing does to it. Like, Daredevil didn't get that long of a marketing run, neither did Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
And in all intents and purposes, Fantastic Four only had 2 months-ish.
Yeah.
3 months maybe. And so, yeah, they need this long lead. And again, there's a lot of bait in the water. I mean, you know, RDJ and Chris Evans. But it's going to be very interesting. So, of the 4, which one is your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I mean, the X-Men one is pretty insane.
It's pretty intense, yeah.
Like, I mean, that's...
But it's intense and insane because of Cyclops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I don't think we've seen him that...
No, never.
We've never seen him let go that much.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's like, like he's getting
full element.
He's getting his little X-Men 92, 97 theme moment.
Exactly. And he's in the blue and yellow, which is like incredible. And again, James Marsden at the helm. And it's something that people have always wanted to see, even since, I mean, literally 26 years ago, you know, because we never got it in the original film. And so I had forgotten, or at least it didn't occur to me until I saw this one tweet that, the whole reason why James Marsden wasn't present in the franchise to begin with is because he was getting blowback for being in Superman Returns. Like, the studio was like, oh, you're going to go do that? Well, And then they decided to nerf Cyclops and kill him off in X3. And so, which is really unfortunate because it's not like he played Superman. He was playing, what's her name's like husband, fiance. You know what I mean?
Like a totally not even a hero.
Just Lois Lane's husband. And so it's kind of interesting to look back on that last moment of his being alive in that movie was the only time we saw his powers somewhat near what they are right now in Doomsday, or going to be in Doomsday. And so, but I think it was funny that, Jeff and I were talking over the break about these and how wouldn't it be interesting if all of these were filmed specifically for
just
teasing,
and
they weren't actually part of the films. But I don't know. Now things are starting to come together more, and I'm like, okay, there is this underlying common denominator of children happening. And not only with Franklin and Steve's baby and Love, but also there is like Prince T'Challa, and there is all Billy and Tommy for that matter.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting, like, oh, okay, well, what's gonna happen there?
Yeah.
Is this really all related? Is even Scott's related? Does that bleed into, I don't know, Brand New Day somehow with a random redhead being played by Sadie Sink? Like, is she in fact one of the daughters and not Jean Grey?
I mean, did I tell you? Did you? I saw the leak of the Spider-Man trailer too.
A better one, or the one that's been
the one that
I've seen that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Sadie Sink. I don't know. She sounds mean. What'd she say? People saying that like she's playing this one character of Punisher.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we'll see.
It's tough. It's a tough call. It would make a lot of sense, but again, it's like, well, we just won't know until it all comes out.
Yes.
But yeah, so all that said, that's kind of why I chose to cover Namor right now, because we're about to see the return of the Talocan in Doomsday, and we've only seen him in Black Panther, but he is actually quite such a formidable villain. Like, now's a great time to talk about him. Mm-hmm. But before we jump in, last but not least, I just wanted to remind everybody that Wonder Man premieres this month on Disney Plus. So be sure to show up for the show. It's an 8-episode series debut on January 27th. And they've released a slew of marketing promos for it, including more text from Trevor Slattery. Still the funniest text, because I think it's somebody important. I just see Trevor Slattery because I put him in my phone book. Oh. So it's like Trevor Slattery.
And you're like, who's it?
Yeah. And he sent me one today, in fact. And it says, "The greatest acting coaches will tell you to unleash your inner beast. I find the stage the best place to exhibit such a performance." And there's an audio file attached to it. So in conjunction with the latest official final trailer they've released, now we're seeing Simon Williams' power. Yeah. Which is awesome. Yeah. I was like, there it is.
People are like, I mean, for me too, not knowing who Wonder Man is, it's like, I was like, what's his power? Like, I'm so curious. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, I think that's what's really been great about these teasers for the show, is that in every teaser, you never got the gist that he had powers. Yeah, yeah. You maybe thought, oh, maybe in the show he's going to get power. It's like, no. Now they've proven he's starting with them, and he's like trying to hide.
I love the conflict already of the show, because they're hiring for the new Wonder Man, and they're literally saying, you must not have superpowers. And he's like, oh. So I love that already.
I'm really into it. And the theories around even that are very interesting, because the DODC is involved, and are they going to be the ones that introduce Sentinels into the proper MCU because of this anti-superhero thing? It's very, very interesting. So I can't wait. I will be seated at the end of this month. Hopefully you will be too.
Same.
But all of that said, we're finally ready to dive into our first character study of the new year, new season. But first, we're not experts. We don't claim to be. We're just a couple of nerds nerding out. And in this episode, we are nerding out about... I don't know if I'm going to say... I already apologize. I might bounce between Namor and Namor. Like, it's... Namor is how I've known it, but Namor is it goes so tough.
Yeah,
it's so
Namor.
Good. But we are going to talk about Namor.
Namor.
The Submariner. I used to call him Namor is Submariner.
Right?
I mean,
how could you not? Dude, whenever I think of the Submariner, I think of first thing that came to mind was Waterworld.
Yeah.
The live show, because they're like, the Mariner, get him.
That's funny. That's a deep cut. So some related episodes to this one. We talked about him. Actually, I don't think we talked about him Black Panther because that was obviously before Wakanda Forever came out. Mm-hmm. But I believe we did cover him a little bit in our Wakanda Forever review.
Yeah.
Other than that, we've only talked about him very recently in the Invisible Woman character study, episode 115, as well as 121, Mr. Fantastic. But as we get into the details of this character, he was created by Bill Everett, and his first appearance. Now, this is a crazy one, Jeff. So let me tell you, first published appearance was Marvel Comics #1.
Wow.
October 1939.
Wow.
Yes.
#1?
#1.
First one ever?
First one ever. This is before they were Marvel Comics. This is when they were Timely Comics. So it precedes even...
Oh my God, I remember that one pop quiz question you asked me, like, who's the oldest character?
Yeah.
And I was like, it was definitely this one, or it was probably this one.
It might have been this one.
And I was like, him?
Yeah,
I was like,
it
what?
might have been this one because Groot is also very old.
Yeah.
Groot is really old. He might be right behind this guy. But yeah, October 1939
Wow.
of all years. And so I say published because he actually appeared 6 months prior to this.
Oh, wow.
And we'll get into that shortly. But the title of the issue, there is none. This is actually an interesting anthology issue where it's got multiple stories. And so this is also the first appearance of this guy, the original Human Torch, unrelated to Fantastic Four, though they did some homages.
Okay.
And so it also has the first appearance of this guy, as well as a character named Kazar, Angel, Jungle Terror, and Masked Raider. And so there's no title for the issue, but Namor's portion is obviously called the Submariner.
Wow.
Yeah, so... Some notable attributes beyond who else is in it. It sold 80,000 copies at the time of its release, and it convinced Timely to then hire Joe Simon and Jack Kirby to create Captain America Comics #1. So had this not done as well as it did, we might not have gotten Captain America and everybody who came thereafter. And so, as I mentioned, it then served as the title inspiration when Timely Comics became Marvel Comics over 20 years later in 1961.
Whoa.
So it had a lot to do with Marvel history in general, and to think that it all started with a character like Namor is kind of funny.
I know, that is crazy.
Yeah, and so give it a go, Jeff. How much
the first
do you think?
one?
The first Marvel Comics #1, October 1939.
I mean, it has to be a nickel, right?
Oh.
Wow.
No.
Less than that?
Higher.
Whoa.
So for at 1939, this is after the Second World War. Not even, it's in the Second World War. Crazy expensive.
Is it?
Not a nickel, but...
It's a dime?
It's a dime.
It's a dime.
Could get it at a dime store. So, yeah, this it's definitely a jump now.
Yeah.
And so the highest graded, and so we've discussed in a handful of episodes, this comic, of course, is one of those you can't walk into a store and get. You have to go to auction to get it. And it has to be done through reputable sources. And so as recent as March 2022, a pay copy of the issue. And so a pay copy, very quickly, is one where the editor used the cover to write and record how much they owed each person. So instead of using a piece of paper, they would write Bill Everett $300 for 12 pages. You know what I mean? So they used it as a reference. So a pay copy got CGC graded and sold in 2022 for $2,427,777 doll hairs.
Whoa.
Even with all the writing on the cover. So you can imagine what a 9.5 might sell for.
Did it? Oh, it was a paid copy.
No, it was a paid copy, so it didn't have a proper grading.
My
but
God.
you can imagine, yeah. And so, according to Overstreet Guide in 2021, a near mint 9.2 had the value of $775,000. So that was just a year before the one that sold.
Damn, from 10 cents to that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And so, yeah, if you get it raw somewhere, you find it in a, like a
box or something?
Yeah, or an antique
somewhere?
shop. Yeah, somewhere you could get it $22,000 to start, upward of $100,000. So the minute you grade that bad boy,
goes
you
up.
might see seven times or more.
Easy.
Yeah. So imagine
I'm
that.
going to go find some.
I know. And so I have a pop quiz for you very, very early.
Not to start the year.
Related to this as well. So pop quiz. Of these record-breaking sales, which comic currently holds the title of most expensive Marvel comic ever sold?
At an auction.
Is it Marvel Comics #1, which is Namor's first appearance, Amazing Fantasy #15, which is Spider-Man's first appearance, Fantastic Four #1, X-Men #1, or Avengers #1?
All right, Avengers is out of there. That I know.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four 1. That's the one with the mucky guy with the guy coming out the street. Mm-hmm. That one we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Does this pay copy count?
No. Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's the first issue of Marvel Comics, so either way, it's pretty momentous.
So if that one's like 2.4,
yeah.
Fantastic. So Marvel #1, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spidey, Avengers. Okay, Avengers is gone.
And Captain America.
And Captain America?
Oh, no, not Captain America. I did not include him. I thought I did. I didn't.
Okay, Avengers issue gone. I know that. I know it's probably worth a lot, but it ain't the other four.
Yeah.
And then the Spidey one is the one of him like posing carrying a guy.
Yeah, the iconic one.
Yeah.
So it's not Spider-Man #1. It's Amazing Fantasy #15. His first appearance.
Ooh, see, like that's tough. I remember we talked about this too. Oh God.
It turns into a popularity versus antiquity.
Yeah. Or and then like just relevance like today. You know.
Exactly. Which is why Action Comics is now officially the highest selling ever. Because people are in the Superman sauce.
Yeah. I remember we had that conversation of those sons that found their late mom's collection and they had Superman #1 in there.
Yep.
And you're like, what a gold mine.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Dude, 2.4 though for this is insane.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't remember seeing that number for the other 30.
Your short list is essentially Namor, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, or X-Men.
I don't think X-Men is up there. Can we just talk about Fantastic Four too? That's why it's like throwing me out because I feel like that first issue was worth a lot.
Yeah.
Is this a trick question? Are you trying to trick question me?
Not at all. Nope.
Because it is Marvel #1.
Mm-hmm. No.
I really, oh my Lord. I think I want to say, I don't know. It's like 33% down the middle for these three that I've deduced to.
Yeah, they're pretty close. I have the final totals and they're pretty close.
I'm trying to remember like what have we talked about? Like my gut is leaning towards Spider-Man.
Final answer?
Yeah.
You got it right.
Oh, booyah!
Starting out strong.
One to start the year.
Yeah. So yes, indeed, the most valuable Marvel comic is still Amazing Fantasy #15, which last sold for $3.6 million in 2021. followed by Captain America Comics, which I didn't put on this list. I thought that was a little too easy. I was like, oh, Cap's so popular.
Yeah.
But he sold for $3.1 million in 2022. Then Marvel Comics #1, which sold for 2.4. Fantastic Four #1 sold for 1.5. And then it kind of goes down the line because Tales of Suspense.
So my deductions were correct.
Correct, because then it was Iron Man with $840K somewhere in the bank.
Yeah.
These aren't in exact order. X-Men #1 was 872. Amazing Spider-Man, it's a third of what Amazing Fantasy was. So Amazing Spider-Man #1 only sold for 1.4 million. Incredible Hulk, 825K. Didn't even break 1 million yet. Journey into Mystery #83, Thor's first appearance, 432K, not even half a mil.
Gosh.
And then Avengers #1, 432K as well.
No big deal.
So they're obviously worth a ton of money, but the heaviest hitters are Spider-Man, Captain America, Fantastic Four, and Marvel Comics. Well done, Geoffrey. Not bad at all, man. So down to nitty gritty. What's your first exposure to this character? Was it Wakanda Forever? Namor.
It had, yeah, because the only fish hero I could ever really think of is Aquaman.
Yeah,
and so it has to be.
Wow, that's so fresh too, because that was 2022.
I know.
So
oh my gosh,
super new for you. He's been around. I've been reading about him. And not nearly as much. Like, he was, for a long time, I kind of didn't even understand that he was much of an anti-hero, let alone a superhero. I always considered him a villain because he was always the aggressor with Fantastic Four for me, or, just like yelling all the time. But definitely trading cards, always aquatic, always very fishy. But yeah, this is definitely the most I've been exposed to him is right now in this adult era, and having read as many comics as I just did, it's like, wow, I didn't know I would know this much about Namor, but honestly they covered it very well, which we'll get into. And so in the mini book, and it's funny because I took out both the villains and heroes just to see if he was going to be in that one versus this one, but he is in fact in the superhero book. And so for you, Jeff, Namor, real name Prince Namor Mackenzie. Height 6'4". Okay. Weight 285 pounds. Meaty man. Tall and meaty, I guess. And so the mutant son of an Atlantean princess and an American sea captain, Namor Mackenzie was raised to hate surface dwellers, yet helped the Allies to combat the Axis during World War II. Namor eventually claimed Atlantis' throne, and in the decades since has navigated interactions with the surface world and its superpowered protectors.
Mackenzie?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. And that's what I think is so compelling about this particular character study, is that it's like, oh, wait, what? Especially for someone like you who has no idea what he's coming from.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're going to get into it. And so speaking of Mackenzie, so I added this right up top on this first section. His names... He has so many names. It's ridiculous. And so his proper name in the comics is Namor Mackenzie, known as the Submariner. But he also has all these subtitles. And I put them all in caps because I'm like, that's how I feel like they're always said. So he's also the Avenging Sun, an Imperius Rex, the first Prince of Atlantis, Emperor of the Deep, Lord of the Seven Seas, and Supreme Commander of the Undersea Legions. That's what he goes by in every issue.
Who's giving these names, man?
It's a lot. I was like, dang, Bill Everett, okay. But yeah, he always, and a catchphrase, as much as it is a title and as a battle cry, is Imperius Rex, which I think he did say in Wakanda Forever at one point. I don't think he yelled it, but I think he was like Imperius Rex. Like I think he did. I was gonna rewatch the entire film. I watched most of it with him in it, but yeah, I think he even says it. And it's such a thing. It is meant for the Prince of Atlantis, and so. we're going to take it back a little bit further because I mentioned the whole published and unpublished thing. And so an uncirculated publication was first to feature Marvel's first superhero, and it was called Motion Pictures Funnies Weekly, a failed promo that had been a small printing as giveaways at local theaters. So like you could go to the movies in 1939, you get this booklet, and it had Namor's origin in it. And so for context, if today you had a copy of that, a 9.0 of the print sold for $43,000 in 2005.
That's crazy.
That's 20 years ago. So if logic works here, that would probably be worth $300,000 now.
Yeah.
So imagine, if you will. And it was a very short printing. So it's one of those things that you just got for free. That's crazy. And so at the time of Namor's creation, creator Bill Everett was just a struggling young artist from Massachusetts. And so Funny Weeklies doubled down with little success. And so he thought, oh, this is going to be great. This is really going to... Nope. It did not catapult his career at all. And so both Bill and Namor saw redemption, thankfully, with the character's first formal debut in Marvel Comics #1 in 1939. And so Funnies was published in April of that same year. And so it was only 6 months ahead. So essentially, when Marvel released their rendition, they were like, this is a great character. This is a great story. We're going to buy it.
Yeah.
We're going to take those 8 pages that you created. Let's do 4 more, and we're going to put it in the book. So the original story only had 8. And so when you read it in the Marvel Comics #1, there were 4 extra pages. You can kind of tell that they kind of went, oh, let's expand the story a little bit. And so they added like a little subplot at the end. But yeah, it was a 12-page debut in Marvel Comics #1. We're going to discuss Namor's origin as we go along here. And as you can imagine, Namor coming in contact with the sea explorers and essentially protecting his domain is kind of like the whole thing. They did that in the films where he's just a sea dweller and he's like, get out of my place, and like it's his thing. He's a protector of the sea. And so in the origin story, he does the exact same thing almost immediately. There are people that are exploring underwater. He feels threatened as much as he wants to threaten them.
Yeah.
And he immediately shows his strength. And it's so crazy because it's like, you remember, like, this is 1939. He shows his power almost immediately by crushing this man's head in a helmet. Of course. 1939 though? Like,
they're violent.
Gee whiz. And he basically crushes the skull. And so that he doesn't stop there. He also kills this other explorer in the process. And so when he returns to Atlantis, he's like, oh, I found these invaders, and he kind of pays them. He kind of surrenders them as like sacrifice to his king, his throned king, who happens to be his grandfather. And his mother is there, Fen, and she's actually the one that narrates the story of his origin and how it came to be. And so despite his half-human composition, she raised him to be a great protector for their people against the land dwellers. We'll talk about that more when we talk about the parents, but in this origin issue, Namor then embarks on an attack with his cousin Dorma, and that's what I mean. Like, they kind of went through his origin, and they're like, okay, well, now we need 4 more pages, so let's add some story of him with his cousin. And it just kind of starts out there, and they go and attack a lighthouse just for the sake of harming humans. It's basically all that they were about. Like, protect the sea, harm the humans. At the end of the issue, they did their damage, and then they go back. That was it. That was the end of it. But the last panel of the original 8 pages kind of kills me because it makes me very interested in what the times were like back then. Because here it is. It's the last panel of the last page of the extended issue. So of Marvel Comics #1. The narration says, and so Namor dives into the ocean again on his way to further adventures in his crusade against white men. Like, this is the thing. This is the thing about this debut issue, is that they don't call them land dwellers. They quite literally refer to them as white men. So they're like, kill the white men.
That's so funny.
I'm like, what?
Also very bold.
Very bold and very distinct.
Yeah.
a crusade against white men.
Yeah. And it's like in Pocahontas where the Indian guy, he's like, these white men are dangerous.
Exactly. It's very interesting. And that's very much the vibe in the origin story. Obviously, they've changed that. It's land dwellers and such. But it is funny going back to it and you're like, 1939 is a little spicy. They're kind of in it.
They were going crazy.
They're going a little crazy with it. But, we'll talk about that more as we go along here. And so, of course, Namor in the MCU, portrayed by Tenoch Huerta. First and last seen in 2022's Black Panther Wakanda Forever, directed by Ryan Coogler.
Woo!
And so, Chato Almanhen is his, given name in the MCU, which is, I had to put it phonetically because, oh my lord, that's a difficult name.
Oh yeah, I would have botched that easily.
And so he was known as the king of the Talokan and referred to as Kulkukan.
Yes.
To his subjects, meaning plumed serpent or amazing serpent, and is a representation of the serpent deity of Maya mythology. So, again, immediately we're given an actual origin.
Yeah.
In the comics, he's just he was birthed of a fish lady and a human.
Yes.
That was a white man. And that's it. And that's how he got Mackenzie as a last name. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Versus this MCU where they've really rewritten it and given him depth almost immediately. He's already he's heralding a serpent of the sea from Maya mythology. That's incredible. Yeah. And down to the looks and everything, it all makes sense. And so before we get into the rest of that one distinct difference is that MCU Namor and his comic counterpart have different history starting points. And so comic book version starts in 1920. But in the MCU, he started in 1571 AD, which makes him almost 500 years old.
Damn.
In comparison to 105. Sure. Yeah, sure. It's very interesting. And so, he originated from Zama in the Yucatan. And so I wrote this I put together this little thing of all his information. And so, it's a tremendous retcon from the comic book origin because it feels like an authentic rewrite.
Yeah.
And just a quick recap of Wakanda Forever, it was all due to the Spanish colonizers at the time that his people were suffering and they had the illness and then their shaman was led to that Wakandan plant underwater that was imbued with the vibranium. Mm-hmm. And they all took the potion and they all kind of died but came back blue, and then they realized, we have to breathe underwater. We can't do it on land anymore. And then it changed them forever. But as we know, Fen, Namor's mother in the MCU, was already pregnant, which led to him being essentially a mutant, which is the first real hard M drop that we got in the MCU. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this, because we actually saw Wakanda Forever together.
Yeah.
When he said, I was the first mutant, everybody was like,
oh, I know. They said it.
Yeah. They said
oh my God.
Which is incredible. Only after his mother passed away did he take on his iconic moniker, which you mentioned pretty recently as well, El Niño Sin Amor, the child without love, especially for the surface world. And so he became Namor or Namor. And so it is very interesting that people who aren't familiar with comics kind of saw Wakanda Forever and were like, why is he in this movie? Why isn't he somewhere else? Mm-hmm. But honestly, I think it made perfect sense.
I thought,
the way that they served it. And of course, what initially linked Namor to the Wakandans was the whole breadcrumbing from the first film, with T'Challa revealing to the world that they had a copious amount of vibranium.
Yeah.
And what that meant, because the world had always been under the impression they have a small amount. It's no, they're mining mountains of it. And so that really brought Namor out from his dwellings and to be you're putting our people in danger, which again, he's not a bad guy. He's just you're messing with us.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
And so it had the ultimate domino effect. Namor and his people were protecting their kingdom from the Americans' infiltration, which introduced Riri Williams, because she's the one that blew their cover by making that machine that detected vibranium. Crazy. And then it led Namor to seek help from Wakanda, which of course is Queen Ramonda and Shuri after T'Challa died. And then he takes it out on them because they're no, we cannot help you. And he has this very interesting and actually quite iconic way of being very harsh about the way he goes about it.
Yeah.
Very like his comic book version. Like he's very like, I don't know what the right word is, aggressive, like passionate.
Yeah.
And he comes at them no different than the comic book version does, where it's like he seems like an aggressor, but really he's like, I'm protecting my people.
Yes.
and they were neglecting that at first. But yeah, and as the film went on, he was trying to kill Riri, but Shuri, being queen of Wakanda and taking on the mantle, they went toe to toe in the end, and he lost to her genius simply because he got too cocky in the desert, and she did the Wakanda Forever and burnt his body.
Yep.
But she ultimately spared his life, and they agreed on mutual protection from the surface world in the end, which is where we last left them. Until we saw the teaser, which seems to depict the Talokan they still have their kingdom.
Yeah, it's looking very barren, dry.
Yeah, dry and kind of they're in black, which, well, at least he was in black.
He didn't have.
Yeah. He didn't have his ornamental jewelry, which is interesting.
There was I did read like a rumor of that teaser and like what
that means.
But what people have conspired
right,
from that.
I think
people are thinking that Talokan is running barren, running dry. The civilization is looking really grim.
Sure.
And then
resources.
The rumor and the rumor and the conspiracy is that Doom approaches Namor, and is like I can provide you this if you XYZ, which prompts a battle between Doom, the Talokan, and then Wakanda and the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which wouldn't be far from what has been done in the comics, actually. In the New Avengers, I think, not Thunderbolts, but like New Avengers, the comic in the 2010s, a lot of these characters were kind of mingling. They were intermingling, and Doom was there. He's present in it, and it's kind of like on the touch of Illuminati as well. Yeah. And it's for that reason. It's always about resources when it comes to Namor. And so, again, he's always like kingdom forward, people forward. And so you put that if something dire happens with them, then that's why he's doing anything.
He's going to get desperate.
So he gets desperate, and it's going to be very interesting. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like a Mephisto situation,
Yeah. Yeah. Very much. There's a parallel there. And so very curious where that trailer is going to lead into the bigger picture film.
I thought it was funny.
What?
I think that teaser, the Wakanda one, where M'Baku's like, M'Baku, king of Wakanda.
King of Wakanda, yeah.
And then Ben Grimm is like, oh, yeah, Ben of Yancey Street.
Yeah, I know. It's like, that's great. But I mean, like, there are so many conspiracy theories of like what's even happening in that scene.
How are they even?
Yeah, and like the Thunderbolts come in.
God,
and everybody,
so excited.
So it could go anywhere, but the fact being that they found Namor important enough to include in that, even though he's not interacting with anybody, says a lot. Like there's a prominence to that. So we'll see what happens.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
11 months.
11 months and counting. The countdown. So as for aesthetic, like I mentioned, it's one thing to see the comic book version. Like, yeah, it's an Aquaman type of deal.
Yeah.
But he's got wings on his feet. But, the MCU really, really kicked it up and gave him some depth of history. I know some people don't like it when they do that. I thought this was one of the most genius rewrites they've ever done for a character because, again, it gave him a reason to be wearing what he's wearing. And it meant something, and it's very of the Yucatan and of the Maya. And so, of course, to thank for all of that, we have Ruth E. Carter, the Queen of Queens, who also did the Black Panther costumes as well as Wakanda Forever. Also, some little movie called Sinners.
No biggie.
And many, 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 many other films. And so Ruth is really, really on it. And so, yeah, if you look at the comic book version, aside the fact that it is quite literally a half white, half fish man instead of a, Maya descendant.
Yeah.
he looks like Namor.
Yeah,
he's adorned differently, and I think they captured the character very well. Down to his little wings.
Down to the wings on the ankles.
Yeah, really great. So there ain't much to say there. So powers and paraphernalia. I mean, I could have just been like, he talks to fish. But it's a little more than that. Because due to his mutant Atlantean physiology, aka Homo moranis, he has these Homo superior physiologies classified as an alpha level mutant.
That's right.
Yes. So he is in that lovely nugget of power categories with the rest of the mutants.
How many alpha level mutants do we have now in the MCU?
Oh, in the MCU? That's a different question.
I think if I asked that as a genre, that would have been like, it's a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would be a lot, but I put a sub bar here because I knew that there was going to be some who is a good comparison of the power level, right? And so if by your question, this is actually kind of answering it. Other alpha level mutants in the comics include Cyclops, Franklin Richards, Professor X, and Storm. So if you're looking to power compare, there it is. So that's how powerful he is. Like, that's Franklin Richards.
When do you think they dropped the name in MCU saying, "Oh, they're an alpha level"?
Ooh,
mutant.
I don't know. I'm almost hesitant that they would use that kind of language because it means something different in like Gen Z slang. Like, it's so alpha. You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, that wasn't the right accent.
The Gen Z can suck it.
But you know what I mean? Like,
I do. Unfortunately, I do.
It's kind of changed since the creation of like that terminology. I think they can still get away with it because Omega level is also like, they're not saying beta. You know what I mean? It's really alpha and Omega that are the important ones.
Yeah.
So I mean, now that they've actually said mutant, I wouldn't doubt that they start classifying.
Hey, maybe they'll say it in Doomsday because people need some distinction,
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I mean, they're just this though. And it's like, yeah, but I could see it being like, maybe it being said in where Monica Rambeau is trapped.
Yeah.
Where Beast found her.
We need an alpha level mutant.
Yeah, or like Monica's like, oh, but they're just this, and this. And he's like, no, like they're an alpha level mutant, and she's like, "What's that?" And it's like, boom,
right, exactly. Yeah, so to give it some depth and understanding, especially for the common Joe, like, would you ever have thought, oh, Cyclops and Franklin Richards are on the same power register as Namor?
I mean, like after reading, I said this a couple episodes ago too. After reading Franklin Richards' Marvel wiki, I'm like, What is? I'm like, damn. What is Sue and read on, man? Like, how the hell?
Those cosmic rays, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, to think of that is very interesting because, of course, it's not because based on they have powers that are similar.
Yeah.
It's just that of an optical blast type of power set, Cyclops is that maximum. Franklin Richards, maximum of that. And Namor is the maximum of talking to fish and having these like strength, equality, all this stuff.
Yeah. The man controls the sea, man.
Yeah, he literally controls the sea. And so he says this one incredible line in Wakanda Forever where he says, "I have more in my army than you have blades of grass," which is like, holy crap. Like,
it's a lot.
And only in Wakanda. So all these the ammonites, the seashells, the amoeba, everything in the ocean really could be up to his powers. And so that said, he has amphibious physiological adaptation, which allows him to adapt to any and all underwater conditions through blood circulation and temperature adapting, as well as enhanced vision, so he doesn't see murky, it's always clear, and he can survive indefinitely in water as well as on land, but he would still need to go to water on occasion for the latter. Mm-hmm. So we've seen all of that.
Yeah.
He also has superhuman strength, speed, stamina, agility, reflexes, durability. Jeff is like crashing out.
Don't they all?
They all do, yeah. As well as aquatic healing, radiation absorption, advanced longevity, aquatic telepathy, electrolocation, enhanced senses, water manipulation, and winged flight. And so the latter, of course, comes courtesy of those vestigial wings on his ankles. And so when he's fully exerting himself, Namor can fly at the speed of escape velocity. So that's another great thing they did in Wakanda Forever, because like in the comics they kind of draw them like these puny little like, you know what I mean? They're like little tiny
but he moves
wings.
super quick with them.
But in the film,
I was like, oh, this guy's moving.
and they did it well, because if you pay like attention to his movements, like they're not graceful all the time. He really has to like kind of get himself going, and so he does this weird like bounce that like hummingbirds do.
Yes,
and they're bigger but not gaudy. So, and the fact that you can hear the
the flutter.
Yeah, the flutter is so cool. The flit of them is awesome. So they really compensated for that, bringing it to life and making it believable. And so as for the comic book version, Namor also had a handful of powers that have since been retconned in the comics, including an internal sprinkler system that allowed him to spray water through his pores.
So funny.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
I don't like that at all. Aquatic life mimicry, sonar, and even bioelectricity, something he once used to short circuit Sue's invisibility.
How do you stop any hero? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, right. It's really mind over matter, because like he stopped Sue's invisibility by like being able to electrocute. That's right. But then now they're like, no, you can't do that. You're too powerful. So they took it away. He can't do it.
Like, how is someone like look, Captain America is a strong person.
Yeah.
What the hell is he gonna do against Namor? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like the whole Hawkeye thing and Black Widow,
right.
Like in the first phases and stuff. It's like
Black Widow with her tiny like 3
pistol
millimeter.
Or whatever. Yeah.
It's like, what are you gonna do? And it turns into a thing of like, well, they have to outsmart the enemy.
Yeah.
And so that is very much Namor. So that brings us to family, friends, and affiliations. We mentioned them up top somewhat, and that's Fenn and Leonard Mackenzie, his mother and father, respectively. And so Namor in the comics was born of a princess and a captain. Namor's tale is somewhat familiar, and it's definitely one that's been told many times in many ways before this. And so Captain Mackenzie was part of a crew that embarked on an expedition in the icy Arctic using detonation tactics to further their exploration scope. So they were blowing up glaciers and trying to break into the ice, trying to find whatever it was that they were looking for, as many of these groups do. And so these same detonators rocked the undersea world, and so all the debris would fall underneath the water and eventually land and bombard the kingdom below. And so this kingdom in particular was led by a man named Thakor, a ruling Atlantis before Namor came to be.
Yeah.
And so Thakor ordered his daughter, Princess Fenn, to select soldiers to find the source of all of this commotion. And so Fenn, she was quite strong-headed and bold in her own right. And so she decided that she wasn't going to go with the soldiers, that she would just go by herself and see what was happening on the surface. And so that put her in the direct line of Mackenzie's crew, and they discovered her. And after they got to talking to her and realizing that she was able to dwell on the land, even though she looked like she was aquatic, they dubbed her a walking, talking mermaid, quote unquote. Huh. And in reality, it was just that Fenn was very much of the underwater, but she used this potion that Thakor's people concocted that allowed them to breathe out of water for 5-hour intervals.
That's right.
And so it's kind of funny because it's quick and fast, because the comic cites literal days passed before Fenn and Leonard fell in love and married.
So they only had like 5 hours a day together?
No, 5 hours at a time. And then she can just go dip in the water again and come back out.
Okay.
But if she's taken the potion. And so it's never clear if she has to take it every time or if it's once and then she's good for a day or two. Like they never clarified, at least in the original story. Because again, this story has been told many times like other stories, and they just keep adding things to it. So maybe they added another nuance of like, oh, it worked for 2 weeks or whatever. But they were able to spend enough time that they fell in love. And then we're like, you know what? We're going to get married. And they officiated the wedding and everything with a real priest. And so by this time, Thakor is like, I sent my daughter out for a quick errand and she hasn't come back in weeks. So
it's like Little Mermaid.
Yeah, it's Little Mermaid. It's basically Little Mermaid, which is kind of funny because this story came first. This story came in 1939. Well, the original Little Mermaid, I'm not sure what the publication date is, but yeah, the original story is a bit older. So
maybe.
So yeah, but it is kind of funny how it sounds very familiar. And so Thakor then sends a war party up to the surface to find his daughter. And then that could have very well been the very first moment that Atlanteans were at war against humans, because they clashed over this, and they were attempting to take Princess Fen back, thinking she had been abducted, but when in reality, she went of her own free will. She did it all of her own free will. And so Leonard, unfortunately, dies in the battle because he's trying to protect her. And unfortunately, she is brought back down to Atlantis, and not long after, Namor is born. And so the story reemerged. Again, it reemerged many times over, and the Fantastic Four Annual #1, I think, was the first iteration in which they said pinpointedly that Namor, quote unquote, was possibly the first known mutant of our time. So in history, he could have been the first mutant born.
Interesting.
But again, like, the timing of MCU versus comic is like the first born mutant was born in 1920. That's kind of... like, it seems pretty young.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have, existed many years before that, but it is interesting that they're like, oh, he's the firstborn mutant.
Yeah.
But over in MCU land, or at least over in MCU land, Fen and an unnamed Aztec Purepecha Poteca, nice. Mercenary spy. I know I didn't put phonetic there. I was like, I can do this. So yeah, an unnamed spy was Namor's father in the film, and so we didn't get to know him at all. We didn't get to know his identity, but we did meet his mother Fen, portrayed by Irma Estelle Laguerre as an older adult, and then Maria Mercedes Corroy in her youth. And so we actually got to see quite a bit of her story, because they take it back. They really take it back. 1571 again. It was, again, Spanish colonizers came and brought illness and disease, and the people looked to their shaman to get that vibranium laced potion that would ultimately spare their lives. But Fen was pregnant at the time with Namor, and it caused his mutation. But it was interesting that he goes on to say that she died of a broken heart because she missed being on the surface, and that's what brought him back to the surface to bury her. And that's when they come across the Spanish colonizers and all that stuff. It's interesting, and yet we don't know a lick about his dad.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's fine. Yeah.
Not important.
It's not as important at all. So so not as much emphasis on both parents in live action, but I think what they did was really brilliant. And then, of course, it's worth mentioning that the Atlantean people themselves, we're going to discuss them a little bit more than we already have, but when it comes to Namor's affiliation, there's also one big one that is worth noting. I mean, maybe I'm overplaying it a bit, but we have not talked about them, even though we could have, and that is the Illuminati. And so in the comics, we didn't discuss them in our Mr. Fantastic episode. We damn well could have. We didn't discuss them in Doctor Strange either.
Yeah.
We damn well could have. But why not now? We might as well, because we have actually seen them in live action. And so in the comics, the Illuminati isn't exactly the same group we know of them in live action. In the comics, according to fandom, quote unquote, a covert think tank originally consisting of Earth's most influential heroes, each representing a different political or superhuman community. It's how they're depicted in Multiverse of Madness, really. And so, although Namor isn't an active member of the Illuminati in the comics anymore, he was the member you would imagine him to be. He was coarse, he was combative, he debated a lot.
Yeah.
If everybody was like, I vote for this, he was like, I don't agree. Because that's just what he does. It's just his personality. It's the way he is and the way he's built. And so he would often question the decisions of his fellow members. And someone's got to do it, so it might as well be Namor. Whereas in live action, the Illuminati were first and last seen in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And so on the flip side of things in live action, the Illuminati served a slightly different purpose on Earth 838, where they were essentially protecting their universe from high-level threats, aka incursions, which is going to be a buzzword in the next 11 months. And so the team in Multiverse of Madness consisted of Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic, Captain Carter, Professor X, Carl Mordo, Maria Rambeau, and Black Bolt, of all people. And so they came together via the alternate Strange to make the difficult decisions that no one else wanted to. And we all know how that ended up. But we've yet to see what could potentially be the real Illuminati, because that, again, was Earth 838. It wasn't main sacred timeline.
Illuminati, an Illuminati coalition.
Yeah.
Is that just to like run that Earth, that universe, or is it
theirs? Yeah.
So it's like one per universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think there's that assumption as well that like to even the audacity to think that they could even protect more than their universe is like ridiculous. Fair. Yeah. So it is very much, it's Earth focused, which is cool. But we could see them. We could see an actual Illuminati come together in the MCU. And, considering a lot of its core members are currently names that we're officially familiar with and faces we're officially familiar with. And so the comic book core members currently includes Mr. Fantastic, Blue Marvel, Doctor Strange, Emma Frost, and Iron Man, with previous members including Amadeus Cho, a Hulk, Beast, Black Bolt, Black Panther, Captain America, Captain Britain, Doc Green, Medusa, Namor, Professor X, and Yellow Jacket.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was all over the place, but it might have been Hank Pym at the time. So the possibilities are endless. They could inevitably actually give us a real Illuminati.
It can make up of pretty much anybody.
Oh, yeah. And then especially now that they have Reed Richards in the mix. Yeah. Sky's the limit. And that brings us to love interest.
Oof.
And so this actually isn't a long list. However, it is a very interesting list. So first off is Marina Smallwood. I forgot to mention we were going to get quite a bit of puns. This is like sea puns. I was like, I'm not writing any because there are enough in the body of work here. So the first love interest, Marina Smallwood. And so she's got an origin that largely involves eggs and aliens and the aquatic. It sounds icky. It's gross. A lot. Yeah, it's pretty gross. But these two met in the field alongside Alpha Flight. Have we talked about Alpha Flight at all?
I think so, no.
So they're essentially a Canadian team of superheroes. And so
led by Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, basically. It's basically like if they don't make an Alpha Flight movie that is like produced by Ryan Reynolds, I'd be very surprised. Because it does include Logan at one point, as well as many other characters. Yeah, they're very interesting characters. They're not bad, but they're Canadian, so they're really nice. And so as many stories go, Marina and Namor fell in love and eventually got married. Marina even accompanying Namor during his time with the Avengers. So again, he's not necessarily a villain by any means. He's not exactly a hero, but he has had a hero position so much that he's been on the Avengers as an active member. But of course, happiness did not last long, and in a strange twist of plots, Marina went berserk due to her primal instincts, because again, she's part like alien but raised under sea, and she's got these things with these eggs and I don't know what that thing is called, but yeah, like they're on the surface of her skin and they pop open, like it's nasty.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. And so she even transformed into this giant sea creature, and she started to wreak havoc across the seas. And so Namor tried to subdue her because the Avengers were like, we're gonna have to take her out, man. Like, we know this is your woman, but she's killing people. And he was like, no, I got it. I can do it. But he ultimately had to end her life himself with the ebony blade. Remember the Ebony Blade?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Black Knight. And so at the end of Eternals, when our friend Dane opens the case, he has the Ebony Blade. And so that thing is another story on its own.
We'll see if we even see that again.
I know. I'm dying for it. I loved him. But yeah, so he ended her life with that. He had that in his possession. He killed her with it. And so there is no MCU counterpart for Marina Smallwood. I don't think we're ever going to see her. I even typed her up and I was like, is there like an Easter egg? Nope, nothing. We're not going to see her. But someone we could see and may have actually seen already is a character named Dorma. And so Atlanteans, how familiar are you with Game of Thrones, Jeff? Not at all.
Not at all.
So there's very quickly top of the series we're introduced to the Lannisters, and Lannister.
I know the Lannister family is like just horrible.
So let's apply a little of the Lannister math here, because Dorma is the quote unquote distant cousin of Namor, but they're still related, and so
keeping the family role.
They kept it in the family, yeah. And it's funny because even at one point, Namor even says he's like, but the point is that we're all related. Like he even very boldly is like, technically all Atlanteans are related. And so, anyway, they were trying to dismiss the fact that they're related. And so Dorma is part of the royal lineage, and she was dubbed Lady Dorna by the Empire of Atlantis. And so on top of a love triangle / rivalry with another love interest of Namor's by the name of Diane Arliss, Namor and Dorma had a struggle with their romance, and Dorma was even being impersonated by a shapeshifter grifting for the throne at one point. And so, cousins aside, they had a pretty authentic romance going on. And so that particular character that was trying to get the throne by impersonating Dorma, the plot failed. The truth came out that a character named Lyra, she was a shapeshifter. She wanted to ruin the romance by abducting Dorma and getting revenge on Namor. And so she was just really vying for that's what a lot of these villains turn out to be for Namor, is like, I want the throne and I want the resources and I want Atlantis, it's mine. And they just do whatever they can to take him off the throne. And so Lyra, in particular, she went for Dorma, because that's an easy way to do it. Mm-hmm. Go for the love interest. That's how they all end up. MJ, all of them. Yeah, it's easy way to go. And so, yeah, she abducted Dorma to get revenge on him, and Namor, of course, pursued her. And so while he was able to find Dorma, his efforts proved unsuccessful because Lyra was keeping Dorma in this cylinder because it had the water and all that. Again, their weakness, they can't live without water. Lyra shattered the cylinder, and Dorma essentially suffocated to death because she couldn't breathe. They fought while she was just suffocating, and the last words she said were telling Namor that she loved him. So she died. And of course she has no actual MCU counterpart, but she's somebody I could see if they wanted to kind of expand on him a little bit. Mm-hmm. She's someone I could see them bringing in. But there is a character that we have been introduced to that I think is compelling enough that they don't have to go further into the archives. And that's a character named Namora. And so we have Namor and Namora.
And so as one.
This killed me because I don't remember this at all. But Namora's real name. So we went from Marina to Aquaria Neptunia. Aquaria.
That's as aquatic as you can get.
It's so crazy. I'm like, Aquaria. Stan was in the writer's room. Well, I like Aquaria Neptunia. Like, what? Neptunia. Yeah. Sure. And so they shortened it or changed it to Namora. And so she was introduced as the female counterpart to Namor in the comics, though not to be confused with her daughter, Namorita Prentice. So there's another character. So we got Namor, sure. Namora, Namorita. And they sound like, I don't know, they sound like margarita drinks to me, but
sounds like a Taco Bell item or something.
Shoot. Yeah, so Namorita Prentice is her daughter, but Namor and Namora, their canonical romance would soon suffer the wrath of retcon, however, because a rewrite of her origin included familial ties. So you already had Dorma, who was his distant cousin. When Namor was reintroduced into canon, they straight up were like, they are first cousins. And so that made for a weird situation of like, oh, he's in relations with two cousins? Why they all got to be related? And so they kind of got Luke Leia. They kind of put them in this position of like, oh, you're in a romantic wait, you're related. Never mind, never mind. And so there's no romance going on there anymore. They just basically were like, just kidding. She's his cousin now. They're not. It's so weird.
So crazy.
It's so interesting. Again, and we've said this before, is that it's weird how things change when they change writers' hands. So someone gets an idea and they decide to do something, and this is the case. Yeah. And so, so there's nothing going on there anymore. She's just her own independent character. She's his cousin, and that's why it explains the name and all that good stuff. But fun fact, Namor even dropped Namor's name when he was pursuing Sue in the first Fantastic Four appearance. So issue 4, Fantastic Four. And he says to her, you can become Princess Namora, Bridge of the Submariner, co-ruler of Earth. So that meant something. Yeah. Like it was like the queen to king, like just the title. And it somehow devolved or evolved into another character entirely. And so, like I mentioned, we have Namora in the MCU, and she's portrayed by Mabel Cadena. And she was first and last seen in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And I believe she might have a slight cameo in the teaser.
She's returning. Yeah, in Doomsday, yeah.
So she's there. They're building off of her. And if anybody had the most screen time with Namor that wasn't Shuri, it was definitely Namora. And so they don't pinpointedly give us much to know about her in the film, but it's noted in various media that she grew up idolizing Namor as a Talokan king, and she eventually worked her way up to being his second in command, as we obviously see, which is why she has the beautiful headdress compared to the other warriors. And so she's otherwise a pretty consistent and solid presence in Wakanda Forever, and she's always at the forefront in battle alongside Namor and or Atuma. And so, there's that amazing scene against Okoye. They're all up in that. It's fantastic. And so they really put her at the forefront as more than just, a plot point. And they thankfully didn't reduce her to just being a love interest. I personally didn't get romantic vibes from them, but they were close. You could tell they were close.
It was like she was like his right hand. I think maybe a little bit of romantic vibes, but nothing, it wasn't it wasn't like physical intimacy. Yeah, it was more of just like don't, or like I don't know.
Yeah, because when she's she was so concerned about him.
Very concerned.
Yeah,
so
and he was just like
that. Nothing. I was like, I don't think they kissed or anything.
No, they don't.
Like, no, I'm by your side, and I'll do.
It's very much like her being like, I'm your support system, but like you're almost like, is she into him, or is that just her being a general? But I think they might try. I think it's gonna be a device in Doomsday that pushes one of them to do something. But yeah, we could see some stuff form between the two. What who's to say? I guess we'll find out eventually.
Yes.
And then the big one that isn't really a big one. Again, it's not really anything. And that's Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. And so, as we previously mentioned, Namor has been nothing but a nuisance when it comes to the romantic lives of Reed and Sue. And so immediately, literally the first panel, he actually sees her because in the moment he's battling her and she's invisible. So he doesn't even know what she looks like, but she comes back. She makes herself visible again. Yeah. Immediately, homeboy's like, you're the most pretty woman I've ever laid my eyes on. And you're just like, what is this? You hate land dwellers. Why are you?
Top tier Riz right there.
It's so bizarre. And so they just rode that coattail all the way into modern age. And so, again, he's done all of these villainous tropes that were romantically.
It might happen.
It could.
I just put two and two together. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four is with Wakanda
They're in Wakanda, so they're going to land or transport to Wakanda, which puts them in direct lines. Which one?
I bet you'll say it.
Which one?
I'll bet you Namor will say that to Sue.
Oh, yeah.
Like they meet for the first time. And he's going to say it in front of Reed, and Reed's going to be like...
Exactly. What?
Hello?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and I know the Twitterscape was like talking about that, and there's like discourse now, like why would he want her in the MCU, because it's so vastly different, at least historically, right? Like again, he's against colonizers, right?
Yeah.
So why would he want to fall for a blonde-haired, blue-eyed like white woman, for instance?
I mean, it's Vanessa Kirby, so I don't
but it's Vanessa Kirby. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting if they do end up doing it. There's so much pressure, right? Because it's kind of like every other romance.
I think they're going to have an interaction, but I don't think it's going to
I kind of feel the same. I feel like people are hyping themselves up and it's not going to do anything. It's just, they're just going to be like, okay. But I think I could see him being a nuisance to them because he can. Yeah. Like not because he actually wants anything. Yeah. But yeah, you know, he just has that same trope in the comics. He just kind of is there, and he's like, it's funny because like in one issue, they're all fighting. He's fighting all three of the Fantastic Four men, and then he's like, I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna kill you, Richards. Blah blah blah. And then like the minute Sue comes in, he's like, not you, my dear Sue. I'll never do anything to harm you. But you, Ben Grip. Like it's so bizarre. It's like, what are you? Somebody was projecting when they were writing. Yeah, it's so funny. But beyond all that, Sue admitted mild attraction to Namor, initially physical, but more so toward the fact that he's his status, you know, that you know, he's established, he's a king of royalty and he can command something, where she has Reed, who often at the time, you know, and he sometimes now ignores her for his work. And so it's bound to, loneliness drives people crazy is basically what's happening here. So it's not really that she's even in love with him or into him for that matter. Could be the same way. They're just two people floating in the ether. And the interesting thing that I think Sue has when it comes to Namor is that she admits herself that Namor isn't a bad person. He just fights for what he believes in passionately. So she gets him on that level, which I think makes all the difference in his eyes. And then, of course, we have live action, Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, portrayed by, indeed, Vanessa Kirby, first and last seen in 2025's Fantastic Four, First Steps, directed by Matt Shakman. So Tenoch was reported saying how lovely of a co-star Vanessa Kirby is. And so we've already seen the teaser, and like Jeff said, they're apparently all meeting up in the desert. So we're going to see some sort of, you know, interaction. Again, we'll find out in less than a year. But other than that, yeah, we haven't seen it. We will. We had got to wait till then. Otherwise, there are vague references in Marvel Rivals that call back to the comics. And yeah, he says a lot of stuff that he probably shouldn't say.
No, yeah.
What does he say? He says to Reed at one point, he's like, "I'm glad that we have the same." What does he say? "I'm glad we have the same desires." And Reed's like, "Yes, to protect people." And Namor's like, "Yes, that's what I meant." It's like, nah, dude. Yeah, so they're really building off of crumbs, which is kind of funny, giving the people what they want.
Exactly.
And that brings us to notable adversaries. And so I initially was not going to include this guy, but he has an interesting link to Namor. And so the first one is Todd Arliss, Tiger Shark. Huh. There is indeed a hero or villain named Tiger Shark in Marvel Comics. And so originally, very quickly, his origin story, Todd Arliss was an Olympian swimmer, and his life was forever changed when he attempted to save a drowning man. So he was already at the peak of his career. Mm-hmm. He's on a boat. A man falls over. He's like, this is great. This is great press. I'm going to go save him because I'm an Olympic swimmer. And the tides go crazy, and he gets slammed into the side of the boat, and it ends up damaging his spinal cord. And so they essentially tell him, your career is over. You're going to have to figure something out. And his ego cannot take it. He's built himself up so much to this point that he decides to go to a mad marine biologist doctor by the name of Lemuel Dorcas. And I got so irate for a minute because I was like, is that a word? Is that supposed to be like the orcas, like orcas? I'm like, dude, did they just do that? The orcas? I was like, oh no. So anyway, yeah, so Todd goes to this doctor, and finds out that this doctor has held Namor captive, and he then proceeds to tell Todd, like, I'm gonna fix your back. This will, I'm gonna go out with my villainous plan. And it turns out that he has this thing called a morphotron, and he essentially melds their DNA somehow. And so he bestows this aquatic power to Todd with that of a tiger shark, by the way. So they threw a tiger shark into the mix because he wanted to swim quick. So they chose a tiger shark. So anyway,
as one does.
Yeah, he leaned in hard, and he took on the moniker of the same name after realizing that he had the powers of a tiger shark and kind of like Namor, all in one, and he could swim again. And so he basically mutated into this other thing as a result of the procedure. But much like the foes of other heroes and other anti-heroes like Namor, Tiger Shark became a recurring adversary because he was like, he didn't realize what the consequence would be. So like Namor, or more like an Atlantean, he has to go back to water. He can't survive on land. So it ruined his life. He thought his life was already ruined because of the spinal damage.
Yeah.
But in fact, getting melded with Namor and a tiger shark really ruined his life. So now it's like, I'm going to get revenge on you, Namor. I am Tiger Shark. And yeah, he looks like a muscular tiger shark.
The pointy head.
The fin head. Yeah, it's very interesting.
That's rough.
Yeah, it's, oh man, Namor comics are so fun. And we have not seen an MCU counterpart just yet, but I think he's one that we could see just more made a little more serious, if you will. Yeah. So maybe one day, but not anytime soon. And that brings us to somebody that we're a bit more familiar with, and he is an adversary in the comics, and that's Attuma. And so Attuma in the comics was a barbarian warlord from the Sharka tribe exiled from Atlantis. And so in true form, their rivalry in the comics stemmed from when they were both vying for the love of Dorma. It's always a freaking love triangle. It's always there's nothing. It's always a woman or a man. It's always somebody. And so they both reluctantly set aside their differences at one point as part of a pact for peace between the tribes in Atlantis. But this mission in which Attuma's father, Attukar, died ensured that there would never be friendship nor peace between the two and their tribes. And so in a nutshell, Attuma's goal in the comics is simple. He just wants to become king of Atlantean. And so he puts him at odds with Namor at all times, and then the Dorma thing, and then power struggles. It's same formula, different characters. And so it put him at such odds that sometimes even the Fantastic Four came to Namor's aid against Attuma. So that's how big of a adversary he is. And so I tried to think, I was like, I don't know that he has like an ultimate big baddie. Well, Attuma is really like up there, but Namor is also one of those characters that does kind of go against everybody in a way. Like, again, he's gone after Doctor Doom because of the resources thing. They clashed over that. He's gone up against Magneto, He said,
screw it.
Yeah, because he's got the mutant thing going on. So he doesn't have like an ultimate big baddie, but Attuma is a pretty decent call. And so over in live action land in the MCU, we have Attuma portrayed by Alex Livinali. And so also first and last seen in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And so it's interesting because the dynamic there is very different from the comic books. He's not against him by any means. He's actually a general in his army, and he serves as one of Namor's advisors. He's the main guy. He's the guy that he always talks to that isn't Namora. That's Attuma.
Yeah.
And he's got the big headdress.
Yeah.
That's Attuma in the MCU. And so, he otherwise doesn't have a terribly prominent role, but it's clearly one of formidable presence because he fights all the big guys. He looks like he's like 8 feet tall. Yeah. And he's soft-spoken at the same time. Yeah. And so, his focus throughout the film was both playing offense for the Talokan as well as taking care of anyone who got in their way. And he was often pitted against Riri Williams. I think he might have been the main one that she was going after when she was in the Ironheart suit, like when she gets the final suit in the film. I think they were the ones that were clashing most, if not M'Baku. It was one of them, if not both, going up against him. But yeah, so he has a pretty prominent role in live action. It's just not the same as in the comics. And then last but not least, that leaves us with just kidding. Next up, that brings us to the Fantastic Four. And as we discussed in our Invisible Woman character study, Namor's beef with Fantastic Four stems as far back as issue number 4.
Hell yeah.
Him falling in love with her and him just being Namor. Just against the land dwellers again, against the white man.
The white man?
It's so crazy. No! And so he was in... this is where it gets a little interesting because... he in this, I believe it is in this issue. Yeah, in this issue. So here's the cover. This is the re-release. So it says $4.99. It was not $4.99 in 1960s. Yeah, this is a re-release. So this was the cover of his first appearance in Fantastic Four. And so it was very interesting because in this book, apart from his origin and all that other stuff, he was introduced as a man with amnesia who is wandering these unsavory parts of the city, and he takes place in a men's hostel. So Johnny, literally being a child, is like, I need to get away from all of you. Like, I'm too cool for this team. And he like runs away
of course.
As a rebellious teen. And he happens to stay in the same hostel. And so he's reading an old comic of Namor because Namor is a character in the real world, right? And so the other men take notice that Johnny's reading this comic, and they're like, oh, that guy over there, he's got strength that sounds a lot like your little fish man in your comic book. And so they start badgering this guy, and the guy shows like he's got long hair and a beard. He's just like, leave me alone, leave me alone. And he ends up demonstrating his powers, or his strength rather, when he fights all those men. And then Johnny's like, all right, just hold on a second. Let's just settle the score here and see what this guy's all about. So Johnny then decides, you know what, let's settle the score. And Johnny gives this man a haircut and a shave as the Human Torch. So he uses his flame on finger.
Of course.
And he starts to shave away.
That's hilarious.
It looks like me cosplaying as Namor.
You should do that.
I know, right? I bet somebody would get it too.
At least one person.
Oh yeah, I'd be like, one. I'm Namor in issue 4.
Anything more than 2, I'd be like, yeah, all right. No.
And so he quite literally shaves away all of the exterior, the overgrown hair.
Big ass head.
Oh, I know. That's the thing about Namor in the comics. He's got this like square.
Dome.
Yeah, it's like a dome. He then realizes, oh, it's the Submariner. It is him. And he had found him. And so, again, his familiarity with Namor at all stemmed from Sue, because Sue told him all these tales about the Submariner, and because it was established in comics and other magazines in the 1940s. And so that's 20 years after he had been born. So he's like in his 30s-ish. And so, yeah, he had already become some kind of icon that even Sue knew about. So then, by proxy, Johnny. And so once Johnny realizes, oh my gosh, this is Namor, and he doesn't remember who he is, Johnny decides to return him to the water. And that helps Namor recover his memory. And so that story itself was also... they resurfaced it in issue number 1 of Submariner Volume 2. But Namor then discovers, like, oh, right, the land dwellers bombed my kingdom, and it got radioactive from their bombs and all of the debris. And oh, right, I hate them. So he literally comes back up while Johnny is still waiting for him.
Yeah,
and he's like, I'm gonna kill you now, and he tries to kill Johnny. So that, of course, puts him directly in line with the Fantastic Four, and he then begins to take action against the city. So needless to say, he gets whooped, and like every classic hero versus villain story, he vowed to get revenge and fight another day, and has ever since, for different reasons or another. But that's what happened. He didn't know if Johnny hadn't been a good guy, Namor may have never come back to himself, but the minute he did, boy oh boy, he remembered why he hated everybody. But I wanted to quickly show you this. as more evidence of Reed Richards being a weirdo. He turned into a ball.
And he
started bouncing.
Again!
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. And then, he's just like, you want to escape me that way? And he's like, I warned you. Yeah, ho ho. Yeah, it's so funny. And then, of course, on the MCU side, the Fantastic Four. Again, there's no MCU crossover just yet. Technically, maybe in 11 months, in December 2026, that will change.
It will.
And last but not least, Black Panther and the Wakandans. And so I saved them for last just because, obviously we get the most meat out of this story in the MCU. But in the comics, funny enough, Namor served on the Illuminati at the same time as T'Challa. And again, often opposing the majority's vote, including Black Panthers. So they kind of were at odds for those kinds of reasons. But the brunt of their canonical beef actually didn't occur until 2013, after the threat of not just one, but 2 incursions put Wakandans at odds with the Atlantans. So that's not exactly the same reason. It could be the reason in Doomsday, but again, it's part of the protection and the livelihood and the longevity of one people versus another. Classic story. And so in the comics, while Namor and Black Panther have clashed here and there over the years, it pales in comparison to some of his other dynamics. It's really the two just fighting for the good of their respective people. And again, it's with Namor, it's just a passion for him to protect his people. It's his duty as king. Whereas in the MCU, similarly in the films, Wakanda and Atlantis cross paths simply based on the one property in the MCU now introduced, and it's vibranium, as well as the prospect of adamantium, As mentioned above, it's Namor who comes to seek semblance of protection from the royal family after T'Challa passed away. But again, the Pact for Peace was brought. It brought the two nations together, and we'll see how they further connect in Avengers Doomsday.
Or not.
Or go
to battle once again.
I know. Gosh, man. I don't know.
It's going to be good. I mean, these teasers are really...
They did their job.
They really
did their job because... And it's a good thing that they didn't stay linear with the theme. That they really went all over the board. People were like, oh, they should have left the X-Men one last. And it's like, but should they? Because they all are very different.
Yeah, like we don't even have any context of any of this.
We have zero context.
You can form your own kind of like theories and everything. But at the end of the day, it's like, Yeah,
exactly. And again, like we don't even know the context in which the Talocan are playing in this grand scheme. Like we see them, but we don't know anything.
Yeah.
To be honest, to me, it looked like they were on the surface world, but maybe not. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, again, they're obviously, they've had opposition, but it's nothing that you don't expect because it's resources and the people.
Yeah.
In both versions.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to see how everything all comes together, crams together, what storylines they're gonna follow, and hopefully it's crazy.
And someone made a great point because they're starting to theorize that the runtime is in the pocket of 3 hours and 15 minutes or something. And so someone made a great point that this is a lot. Again, it's a lot of characters in one film. How much screen time and how much storytelling are they actually going to do?
3 hours, that's... You have an hour to set up, hour to kind of recap, set up, second hour to kind of conflict, and third hour to just go crazy. Final act. Yeah. So I think that's... I mean, looking back on, again, his scenes in Wakanda Forever, I think I clocked him at 10 minutes total screen time. So... 3 hours and 15 minutes. They got a lot. I mean, a lot of room to work with.
They got a lot of room to work with. A lot can happen in such a small duration of time, and I'm sure a lot of context and dialogue is going to happen too. So, I think it's going to be great, and I think it's going to, again, like Wakanda Forever, it's going to really further a lot of their stories, not just Namor's, but everybody who's in the film. Like, I think they're going to do it justice in a big way. So that brings us to other versions and in other media. And so, due to our introduction for this episode, I could not pass up the opportunity to talk about Namor in video games. And so Namor himself has nearly 20 variants in video games. So he has been pretty freaking prominent as far as video gamescape is concerned. And of course, one of the most emerging as recent as 2024 is with the arrival of Marvel Rivals, where he's portrayed by Daniel Marin. And he's, again, the wonderful voice actor who introduced this episode. And so in Rivals in particular, many of the attributes of both comic and MCU Namor are perfectly combined. And it's the look, the sound, the feel. Daniel has his version of Tenoch's accent, and so they really adapted all of that into the game, as well as, again, like I mentioned earlier, taking these little Easter eggs of like his dialogue with Sue and Reed, for instance, from the comics. So he's kind of like a very well-composed amalgamation of versions of Namor. Another variant, sort of, that was introduced last Halloween was the zombie Namor, the Marvel Zombies add-on to the game. And it's got about a week left. So if you haven't played it yet, you got a week to go, and then it's going away.
Yeah, Dai's been fighting that guy. I witnessed it.
Oh my God, him and his freaking squids everywhere. and yeah, so it's pretty fun. But yeah, we already got 2 variants of him in that game alone, on top of the other 20 that exist in continuity. So it's interesting how vast he is in different mediums. But yeah, he's been around a long time. Might as well have some. And that leaves us with Almost Was. And so I didn't think I was going to find much, but no, I kind of found some. And so rumor has it that WWE star Damian Priest was up for the role, but it's unknown if it was for Namor or for a general of the Talokan, maybe even Atuma. And so his name was being bounced around. I kind of remember that too. Like, I kind of remember that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know anything about WWE, but beyond Damien, no other actors have been fully confirmed, though fan casts included Daniel Day-Kim, Luke Evans, John Cho, and even Joe Manganiello for some reason.
What a spectrum.
I know. I definitely saw Daniel Day-Kim and John Cho being tossed around as like, oh, they should go the Asian route. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. It made sense because the way that he's visually depicted in the comics is so, Yeah, but no, they ended up with Tenoch, and so I think they did great because, again, the history aspect is incredible. So, future of this character in the MCU, what do you think? How far is he going to go? He's almost 500. Again, 500 years old. 500. He's like 40 shy of it.
Beyond Secret Wars?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how much you can do.
Do you think he's going to be in Secret Wars?
I would say just... because Doomsday, unless he dies in Doomsday. I
don't think he'll die, but I think like Doomsday could be it until whatever, like Fantastic Four 2 or something.
Beyond Secret Wars, I could see him in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
For what, how you're just not going to have a alpha level mutant?
I say what you did there. Clever.
I think, Beyond Doomsday or Beyond Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Don't,
Yeah.
Well, we have to also see like what Secret Wars kind of concludes and begins.
Yeah. Because that's definitely it's going to be like Infinity War and Endgame. It's going to end something, but it's going to immediately start up something else.
Yes. So it's like, okay, like what are we going to get into? Like what's the dealio?
Yeah.
So beyond that, not sure.
Who knows?
Especially like with, the Black Panther saga.
Right. I was going to say, that was going to be my next question is, do you think the ocean being as vast as it is, it's obviously not just Wakanda, because like thinking back on his scene with Queen Ramonda and Shuri, when he first comes out of the water, the first thing they say are like, how did you get in here? So he can go anywhere. There's water. So do you think that they're gonna limit that story and keep him with the Wakandans, or do you think they're gonna branch it out?
Maybe branch, but like I don't think it'll be much. I don't know. I don't see him.
Like, is he gonna stumble upon the adamantium or the eternal in the ocean?
Oh,
like, does he already know about it? I'm sure he does.
If he's just on the search for resources for like, I don't know if I ever see him having his own project.
No. I feel like at one point they thought about it or had pitched it.
Yeah.
They never moved forward. Never.
Yeah. Because if his whole spiel is my people, just looking out for my people, then you can use the MacGuffin, you can use the vibranium as MacGuffins, adamantium as like what he wants to do and get, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I said, we don't. I don't think he'll have his own project. It's like, and then like, who do you toss him in with?
Right. So I think if they don't use Wakanda, then the next like logical situ would be Fantastic Four, I guess. But even then, I feel like because of the history that they've woven into this version of him doesn't fit. Like he should just stay in the Wakandan bubble. Yeah. But to what end? Like
I don't see him in the grand scheme of the MCU. I guess
that's fair. I think I agree.
You know what
to be honest, yeah.
And especially like now they have so many characters. It's kind of like, how do you give a proper send off, especially because you have so many characters now. Killing any of the new characters that you've introduced since post Endgame, that's not Spider-Man. It's kind of like, well, like you're gonna kill them, but we've only seen them like once, twice. Yeah. You know, like i.e. Shang-Chi. We've only seen him once, but he's coming back. And so it's kind of like, okay, you know, going to continue his story, obviously, a little bit. And he's still a titular character. So, like, with Namor...
He could still be around, just that he could be
around. But I just don't think that...
Yeah.
I don't think, like, one, he'll never get his own movie. And two, in the grand scheme of things, it's like, do you kill him off? Probably not.
No.
You know, it just goes away. I'm thinking, the thing with movies, it's like... If it just goes away, it's like, well, what happened? And I know when people are always like, what happened to this character? And like loophole, and it's just like, well, maybe they just don't want to make another movie.
I know.
Or
simple as that.
Contracts up. Yeah. You know, it happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think they need to do anything fancy with him. Yeah. I don't think he's served his full purpose yet, but me too. I don't think he's going to have this huge, long-winded arc and multiple appearances or anything.
I just don't see it. No,
definitely not.
Yeah.
So leaves us with suggested reading. And so, of course, Marvel Comics #1. It's 12 pages long. Like, just get the read in, learn all about him. He's very interesting. Can't go wrong with the classics. Fantastic Four Annual #1. It really gives you an idea of the dynamic between Fantastic Four and Namor, and why it persists the way it does. So definitely check that out. It's also 72 pages long. So it's big. It's a huge one. And so there's obviously the main story, and it's very continuous. They even quip at the beginning how it's like, uninterrupted action. And it's like, no, really, it is uninterrupted action. And it just keeps going. There's also these hilarious like pinups and stuff at the end. I actually took screenshots because I might share them on social. But there are like things like this, questions and answers, like all about the Fantastic Four in them. It's just so funny. And there's also a diagram of the inside of the Baxter building. It's pretty cool, but again, it's like the 60s, so it's what you could imagine. It's not realistic whatsoever, but it's pretty awesome. Volume 3 of the New Avengers. Again, certainly a modern take of the character and what his purpose is, but it does also have a lot of characters that people are familiar with right now and want to see in the MCU, so it's definitely worth checking out if you're interested in him in that scope. And of course, any of the Submariner solo titles. So there's a lot of repetition from what I have read, but it's still good. It's still good stuff. It's very interesting, and the insight of Namor and the Atlanteans is what you could expect, but it's pretty compelling on its own. But for me specifically, I did like Volume 2, which started in 1968, and it covers a great amount of his origin stories, so check that out. And all that said, that is the end of the show. Thanks for listening. Woo! First episode of the new year, the new season. For our next episode, we are going to finally tackle somebody that we've wanted to talk about some time now. We're just going to combine them both. But join us in about 2 weeks where we'll talk about the Silver Surfer.
Oh, yeah.
In all of his and her glory. Thank you to all of our Patreon supporters, and a special We Are Groot salute to Chris, Nats, Tyler, Laura, Katie, Robin, Ed, Melanie, Joliz, Andrea, Jenny, Andrew, Sherry, and Ashley. Follow us on social at STRKCNTRST. If you experienced ads during this episode, you can unlock an ad-free version of this podcast by supporting us on Patreon. And if you like what you hear, please review, rate, and subscribe.
Once again, thanks for listening. We will catch y'all in the next one.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bury your dad.
Mama!
Mourn your losses. You are queen now.